Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Farhan Olaleye, and here with me, I have the privilege to have with me here the president and founder of TRIMON, and we'll be asking him some few questions about TRIMON. But firstly, I would like him to introduce himself to the audience.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tajudeen Abdur Raheem, and by virtue of opportunity and grace, I happen to be the founder and president of TRIMON. TRIMON depicts truth revealers Islamic movement of Nigeria. Thank you.
Now, firstly, I'll be asking one simple question, and the question is, what prompts you and what brought the idea of TRIMON?
First and foremost, I need to thank Allah the Most High for giving me the idea about forming TRIMON. First and foremost, what prompted the idea of TRIMON was that before I got admission in the year 2017, I had the opportunity of traveling to Ilorin for the first time. So one of my brother was not feeling too well, so I had to go and stay with him in order to cater for his well-being and welfare. And it was there that I had the opportunity of observing my Jumat service at a school. The school encompasses a school for the less privileged, those who are physically impaired, those who do not have eyes, those who do not have legs, those who do not have ears, those who cannot hear anything. And while listening to the sermon of the Imam, I learned that Muslims, we are lacking behind. We do not have facilities to cater for children's or individuals in this category. So when I got back home, I told myself there is a need for us to fill this vacuum, and there is a need for us to start something from somewhere. And I sampled opinions. I made research on my own personal self and inquired about how many homes for the less privileged do we have in Lagos and beyond that belongs to Muslim. I hardly found any. Little do we have that belong to Muslim. So even if a Muslim child is even brought to those houses, they are, by virtue of training, by virtue of them being in that vicinity and that confine, they become Christians. They are Christianized immediately. So I think it is pertinent that we start something, and that was the first thing that prompted the idea behind TRIMON. So I think it is high time Muslims stand up to our responsibility, catering for the well-being and welfare of those who are less privileged, those who are not living to their fullest among the community. That was the first idea that brought about TRIMON.
But say that word TRIMON, I think is an acronym.
Yes.
What is the full meaning of that TRIMON?
Okay, TRIMON is an acronym, and a lot of people know TRIMON, but they do not even have the idea of what TRIMON truly depicts and represents. TRIMON means Truth Revealers Islamic Movement of Nigeria. From inception, the idea for organizing TRIMON goes beyond just humanitarian service, just like I have said earlier.
Okay.
We had the idea of replicating something like Akadip. Akadip, that was founded by Yusuf Adepoju, was spearheading and liberating non-Muslims from the shackles of those who want to remove them from the fold of Islam. So we thought of revealing the truth, making people understand that Islam is the true message of God. Islam preaches peace and not vandalism. Islam promotes unity and not disunity. So that was the truth we wanted to preach. And we now added humanitarian services as part of our goals and activities that we do. And lastly, what we added was personal development, because we see that Muslims are lacking behind. In companies, in institutions, in parastatals, hardly will you find Muslims doing well in those places. So we need to equip Muslims with desirable etiquette, with desirable knowledge, with desirable skills that will make them fit in properly into any society they find themselves. So that was the idea behind TRIMON and the full meaning of TRIMON.
Another question I'll be asking is that what is the idea or experience that sparkled that name TRIMON?
Before I could come up with that name, it was not really easy, because as at that time of formation, I was the only one doing the whole thing, doing the whole thinking, doing the whole I was the only one doing the thinking, so it was not really easy. But I just think that God inspired me to bring about TRIMON. Even at inception, the name was not really sense making to me myself. But as time goes on, I found out that people started embracing the name. The name started gaining fame and wide publicity among Muslims and even non-Muslims beyond.
Now, I went through your handles, and I see you make some successful moves on TRIMON. I want you to just share with us, how do you create all those things you do? How do you go about it that gives people the opportunity to come and volunteer and gives you money to do all those things you are doing? Because I can see you are the only one pushing this thing. So for you to do all those things, I know it is money you are using to fund everything. How do you create the money? How do you collect the money and everything like that? Because I know Nigeria here now, everything you want to do is about money.
Thank you for that beautiful question. I think it is pertinent to clarify that everything is not about money.
Okay.
The first thing in most instances is for you to have the free will, to have the thinking of doing. If you have money and you don't have a plan, the plan will not bring about any success. Yeah. So one thing I have learned so far is that for you to be successful in life, it requires planning. Okay, let me answer the question by citing the instance of our first program. We had our first program in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and that was our visitation to Erobodo House. Erobodo House is an orphanage home that caters for children's well-being and welfare. It was not really easy, but when we started with just a basic design. We made a flyer seeking for donations, seeking for participation, seeking for volunteers. And because I was a student of TASWED then, TASWED is Taisha University of Education, students in my department, students from other departments saw the flyer and they were interested. Some people messaged, and before you know it, we got donations and we gathered the donations together. We went there, asked for their needs, we got all their needs, and we were able to donate something out of what we could afford. But it was not just the donation that was worth talking about. Okay. It was the message we got from that visitation. It was in that visitation that a lot of us learned that we need to be thankful and we need to be grateful for Allah's immense blessings on us. A lot of things that we take for granted is what some people yearn for. That we can see is a blessing from God. That we can hear is a blessing from God. That we can rationalize is a blessing from God. A lot of people do not have all these things in abundance like we do. So we learned a lot of things during that visitation, and from that time we never relented on organizing some other visitations, ranging from Ramadan lectures and visitation to prisons and more. So that was our first visitation, and I cannot say that I was the only one who see to the success of that program, because it was a collective effort. It would be very unfair for me to acclaim the success of that program. So it was a collective effort of individuals, those I know and those who I do not know. Some people have not even met them physically, and I don't think we can even meet physically because they only donated via bank details. So I do not even get to see them physically. So through their donations and through physical donations, we are able to make those things a reality. So I want to sincerely use this medium as well to appreciate those who have been supporting us from day one till date. May Allah continues to increase them and multiply them in manifolds.
Another question I'm asking you is, as the president of TRIMON, is there any message you want to convey to anybody willing to join TRIMON?
For anyone who is interested in joining TRIMON, one of the messages I usually tell people is that if you are aside from you joining TRIMON, if you are joining any organization at all, joining an organization is like enrolling into a gym center. Okay. You know a gym center. In a gym center, you are expected to pay, and at the same time, you do the work. If you pay at the gym center and you fail to do exercises, the muscles will not come out. The six-pack will not show. So if you join the TRIMON just because you see us organizing events and programs, and you want to follow us to programs and events, that is not the basic idea, because you will not learn in the process. But when you join TRIMON or you join any organization, you are to do the daily routine, the activities, and all the things that you do in that organization. And that is how you will learn. That is how you will grow. That is how you develop. That's how you will be a better version of yourself. It is very irrational For you to claim that you are an MSSA member, you cannot read Al-Masurot. It is very irrational for you to claim that you are a student of Markaz and you cannot read the Du'aul Markaz. It is very wrong. So if you are attributing yourself to any organization, you need to be acquainted with the do's and don'ts of that organization. So if you are joining TRIMON, for instance, you are not just joining because you want to attend events alone. You are joining because you want to improve yourself. You are joining because you want to learn. You are joining because you want to learn more about Islam, unlearn and also relearn. So that is just the basic idea of anyone who is interested in joining TRIMON.
Lastly, I'll be asking this question because we have many people, young sheikh like you, willing to create something like this.
Okay.
So, but maybe let me see fear or thinking of how do I start, where do I start from? So, what is the message you can give somebody willing to create something, a group like this, for the well-being of people? So what is the message you are giving them?
The first message I will give anyone who is willing to create something like this is sincerity. The first hadith of An-Nawawi says that innamal a'malu binniyat, actions will be judged according to intention. So we need to renew our intention. If you are creating a group, if you are creating an organization, if you are creating a society, don't create it just because someone has created it. Don't create it just because you want to amass wealth. Don't create it just because you want to have fame. If you are creating it for that purpose and you cannot meet those expectations, you will not be happy. But if you have sincerity of purpose, sincerity of means, your heart will be free because you are doing it for the sake of Allah and for Allah alone. That is one. Number two, we should not be fearful. The fear of the unknown will let a lot of people die with a lot of plans in their head without execution. In our country, in our society, we live in a society where people learn, we amass knowledge without implementing those knowledge. So a lot of people claim, I'm a computer scientist, I'm a this, I'm a that. What have you been able to do with those knowledge? So if you have wealth, if you have knowledge, put those things in action. Do not fear that where will this thing lead me to? When you start, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So when you start little by little, you will gain more clarity. You will gain more clarity about what you are doing, and before you know it, the thing will be more better. When we started TRIMON, it was not like this. We don't even have this clarity this much. But today, I can say boldly that we are better than where we started from. So this was not the TRIMON of 5 years ago. This was not the TRIMON of 2 years ago. We have been better. We have better members. We have better management. We have better productivity. We have better finances. We have better financial management. This is because of the consistency. If you are consistently doing something, you get better at it and you get good at it the more.
Alhamdulillah. I think by this, we have been able to know at least little things about TRIMON. I think I will come and register as a member of TRIMON.
You're always welcome, sir.
I think it is free or we need to pay money.
You get those information when you eventually want to join.
Alhamdulillah. So